A successful black man enters a luxury watch boutique and is met with disdain, unaware he's the new owner. Instead of leaving, he exposes the prejudice lurking beneath the polished facade, setting off a chain of fury, shame, and life-changing truths. What happens next will leave you stunned. But let's start from the beginning. The boutique sparkled with opulence. The pristine marble floors gleamed under meticulously arranged spotlights that highlighted the store's crown jewels, an array of diamond-encrusted timepieces, each housed in sleek glass displays. The air smelled faintly of polished wood and expensive cologne, completing the atmosphere of exclusivity. Kronos Emporium was not just a store. It was a temple to luxury, frequented by Manhattan's elite. Stephen Masters stood near the center of the boutique, adjusting the placement of a limited edition platinum chronograph. In his late 30s, Stephen embodied the boutique's image. His tailored navy suit fit him like a glove, paired with a crisp white shirt and a pocket square that added a pop of refinement. His slicked-back hair and perfectly shined Oxfords reflected his precision and dedication to the craft of selling high-end timepieces. For years, Stephen had been the top salesman at Kronos Emporium, cultivating an air of effortless confidence and sharp intuition about his clientele. As Stephen perfected the display, the boutique door chimed. His sharp blue eyes flicked toward the entrance, meeting the sight of Jamal Hughes. Tall and commanding, Jamal entered with an easy stride. He wore dark jeans, a fitted blazer, and spotless white sneakers, an understated yet refined look that hinted at a man who valued substance over show. His calm confidence drew immediate attention, though not the kind Stephen was eager to offer. Stephen's polished smile faltered. His tone turned frosty as he approached Jamal. "Can I help you?" he asked, eyes subtly assessing the visitor. "Yes," Jamal said, his tone steady. "I'm looking for a timepiece, something classic but bold." Stephen scanned Jamal, his expression unreadable, but judgment clear. "Our watches start at $20,000, he said, each word sharp. "Perhaps you'd be more comfortable elsewhere." Jamal met Stephen's stare, unbothered. "I'd like to see your collection. Price isn't an issue." Feigning a tight smile, Stephen replied, "We're busy today. Appointments are required." The empty boutique betrayed his words. The door chimed again, and Jamal stepped aside. Stephen's demeanor flipped as a white couple entered. "Welcome," he said warmly. Jamal watched, silently absorbing the hypocrisy. Jamal exited the boutique silently, his face unreadable, though a storm brewed behind his calm exterior. What Stephen had dismissed as an insignificant interaction would soon ripple through Kronos Emporium. That evening, Jamal returned, not as a mere customer, but as the rightful owner of the boutique. The acquisition, finalized weeks earlier, had been intentionally discreet, allowing Jamal the opportunity to observe the staff without the pretense that typically accompanies power. His visit earlier in the day had been a test, and Stephen had failed spectacularly. The next morning, Jamal arrived punctually, his tailored charcoal suit and polished Oxfords projecting the commanding authority of a leader. His crisp white shirt and cobalt tie reflected sophistication, but it was his presence, calm yet unyielding, that turned heads. The staff assembled near the gleaming front counter, murmuring in hushed tones, their curiosity and apprehension palpable. The general manager, a petite woman with sharp eyes, stepped forward. "Everyone," she announced, her voice steady, "please welcome Mr. Hughes, the new owner of Kronos Emporium." The room fell silent. Stephen's face drained of color, his confident demeanor collapsing into visible unease. "Owner?" he repeated, his voice barely above a whisper. His gaze darted to Jamal, whose calm, steady eyes locked onto his. "Yes," Jamal said, his tone measured. "I'm looking forward to working with all of you." Stephen managed a stiff smile, though beads of sweat betrayed his growing discomfort. "Of course, Mr. Hughes. Welcome. We're honored to have you." His sycophantic tone barely masked his anxiety. Jamal nodded graciously but wasted no time. He embarked on a tour of the boutique, his sharp eyes scanning every corner. He paused at various displays, meticulously inspecting their arrangement, occasionally jotting notes on a sleek tablet. When he reached Stephen's station, Jamal gestured toward the collection. "Stephen," he said smoothly, "walk me through these models." Stephen hesitated, his usual bravado gone. With a tight smile, he began an uncharacteristically tentative explanation. Jamal listened carefully, interrupting occasionally with pointed questions that sent Stephen fumbling for answers. The salesman's veneer of expertise unraveled, exposing not only gaps in his knowledge, but the biases that clouded his judgment. Jamal observed silently, taking mental notes, his calm exterior masking the decisive storm that was about to reshape Kronos Emporium. Over the next week, Jamal immersed himself in observing the daily operations of Kronos Emporium, paying particular attention to Stephen's interactions with clients. The patterns were undeniable. White customers were greeted with enthusiasm and attentiveness, offered a curated experience that reflected the boutique's high standards. In stark contrast, customers of color were met with thinly veiled disdain or outright dismissal, their inquiries brushed aside with curt responses. Jamal took careful notes, logging each incident with precision. He discreetly engaged with other staff members, posing thoughtful questions to gauge their perspectives on the boutique's culture and operations. Many revealed their discomfort with Stephen's behavior, though they hesitated to speak out directly. Jamal even reached out to past clients, uncovering a troubling trend of dissatisfaction among those who had experienced similar mistreatment. By the end of the week, Jamal was ready to act. He called a mandatory staff meeting, the tension palpable as employees filed into the sleek conference room. Standing at the head of the long glass table, Jamal's commanding presence filled the space. The murmurs died as he began to speak. "We need to address a serious issue," he announced, his voice steady yet firm. "Our boutique is built on excellence, not only in the products we sell, but in how we treat every single person who walks through our doors." Jamal's gaze landed squarely on Stephen, whose face immediately reddened. "I've observed behavior that contradicts these values," Jamal continued. "Stephen, would you care to explain why certain customers are treated differently?" Stephen shifted uncomfortably in his chair, his confidence visibly crumbling. "I'm not sure what you mean, sir," he said weakly. "I always strive to provide the best service." "Do you?" Jamal's tone sharpened. "Because I distinctly remember being refused service last week when I walked in as a customer." The room fell silent, the weight of Jamal's words hanging in the air. Stephen's mouth opened and closed in shock. I didn't realize." "You didn't realize I was your boss," Jamal interjected, his voice icy. "But that's not the point. You made assumptions based on my appearance. How many others have you dismissed because of their race or perceived status?" Stephen stammered, but Jamal raised a hand to silence him. "This boutique will not tolerate prejudice. Consider this your formal warning. Any further incidents will result in immediate termination." His tone left no room for debate. The message was clear. Change was not optional. In the weeks that followed, Jamal implemented sweeping changes. He introduced diversity training, revamped hiring practices, and encouraged open discussions about bias and inclusivity among the staff. Slowly, the boutique's culture began to shift. Meanwhile, Stephen grappled with his actions. He approached Jamal one afternoon, his usual arrogance replaced with genuine remorse. "Mr. Hughes," he began, "I want to apologize. I've been reflecting on my behavior, and I realize how wrong I was. I hope I can earn back your trust." Jamal regarded him thoughtfully. "Actions speak louder than words, Stephen. Show me you've changed." As time passed, Stephen made efforts to improve. He volunteered for community outreach programs Jamal organized and worked to treat every customer with equal respect. Though trust was not easily rebuilt, Jamal acknowledged his efforts. Months later, Kronos Emporium thrived under Jamal's leadership, becoming a symbol of excellence and equality. And while Stephen's journey was far from over, the boutique stood as a testament to the power of accountability and the possibility of change.